I think, you know, some of my sisters don't know Michael. Do you want to talk about Michael?
Oh, well, a little bit, not very much, really. I can't too much. I will cry. I was there. But I've had an only son, very talented musician, really talented, no problems, no drugs, no nothing. And then honor roll student, nice looking, no problems. And then he began to change at the age of like 15 and a half. And at 16 he was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. And I lost him a little over a year ago. And I still miss him terribly. His death was sudden. It was pulmonary embolism. He was never deserted. I was very involved in the NAMI, which is the National Alliance for the Mentally Ill. So anyhow, I'm okay. But anyhow, he was a dear. I think I have a picture of him somewhere. Yeah, Mike.
Jan read the poem to us last night.
I didn't hear you.
Jan read the poem last night to us. It was beautiful.
Yes.
And you told him he was such a great musician?
He was very talented. He was a clarinetist, and he was talented. He was about 5'11". Never into drugs, never into alcohol, never. But I tell you, I do know a lot about schizophrenia. And anyhow, that's that. And life goes on.
It does.
You are certainly a model for us, Arleen.
Well, thank you. Well, you know, I'm just so honored to be here. I really am. The Via family, you know, my mom's family, I knew all of them. They were dear people. But you know, Lloyd, I gotta talk about Lloyd a little bit. He had come up, and he would call me and ask me to do something for him or something, you know, like this time. Then he called me one time. He said, "Arleen, I wonder if you could do something for me." Well, sure, Lloyd. Ask me. He said, "I'd like to spend some time with Elwood." Elwood was my brother, and
Tell him what he called him. He didn't call him Elwood.
He must have called him Hoot, I guess.
Hoot.
Yeah.
Hoot.
Yeah. Because I always called Elwood Hoot. He was my brother. And he said, "I'd like to spend some time with Elwood." He said, "You think you could get the two of us together?" I said, "Sure, Lloyd, sure." I said, "You come to the house, and then I'll pick Elwood up, and we'll have dinner here. Don't know what I'm going to feed you, but we'll have dinner here." So I fortunately had made some polenta and stew. Do you people know what polenta and stewad is? Probably not. Do you?
Polenta. I know what polenta is.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, and then so I thought, well, I have enough leftover polenta and stew, so Elwood, the three of us, Elwood, Lloyd, myself, because Bill had already died, and we had wine, and it was wonderful. And then after we had this long talk, we went up on top of the hill at Perfuma Canyon, where Elwood was living with his wife and family. And Nita had purchased a wonderful pie from the Madonna Inn. It was, and we did some more chit chat chit. It was a memorable evening. It was.
I do remember him talking about it.
Yeah, it was just special.
It was special for him.
Yeah, it was special. And then, you know, Flo Tartaglia, who was a very dear friend of mine, and also she and your dad. Well, we feel that your dad, Jan, and everybody owes Flo and me a breakfast here. because there's a special restaurant in Morro Bay that serves wonderful breakfast, and so Lloyd would. He had his big mobile home, so either Flo would drive or I would drive, and we'd go out there for breakfast. So first time I was the hostess, and the breakfast was on me. And then the second time Lloyd came back, the breakfast was on Flo. And we told Lloyd, all right, Lloyd, the next time you come, the breakfast is on you. Well, the third time did not happen. So in heaven, when we all, Lloyd owes Flo and me a breakfast. So anyhow, Lloyd and Flo were good friends. They really were. Yeah.
So Inez, they only had, you know, Lloyd and Elwood, and after coming from these huge families, do you know why they didn't have more children, or?
Oh, why?
Inez and
Oh,
Mike
I
didn't
have
more children? Because it seemed like,
no.
you know.
Don't forget now, Uncle Mike was older.
Yeah.
No, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Two?
Yeah.
I only had one.
Yeah.
Arlene, I met a neighbor, and I can't remember his name, of theirs out, out the canyon, and said that every Sunday, well, maybe it was Saturday, they would take the cream into the creamery, and he said, you know, your grandma and grandpa were so in love, and they hold hands, and he just said they were darling people.
They were. I'll bet they never had an argument.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very sweet.
Really and true. Now, I don't know who owns that ranch now. Do you have any idea,
No.
Jeff?
No. I don't think it's in the Via family anymore.
Oh, you think
I think Mike has sold it.
Mike sold it?
I have no.
Why
See,
do you
I
think
tried to
that?
contact Mike because I know that Irvin had quite a collection of pictures, and they were Uncle Mike's pictures. Most of them were.
You don't think they burned when the farmhouse
Oh,
burned?
please.
No, he didn't keep it there.
No.
No.
No, it was a renter there then.
Yeah.
No, he had him dead.
But when Erwin gave Mike the ranch, didn't he? Then he put stipulated he had to keep it for so that it been in the family for 100
Well,
years.
they did Grand Avenue also, but Grand Avenue got sold. So I think when his mother and when his stepmother, Irving's wife, died, you know, they kind of owned it in his trust, but she got the income from it. So when she died, I think they freed up stuff to sell.
Now, Jan, is this Anne, the
Yes.
last wife?
Yes, she
And how many
just
times
died.
was he married? He must have been married about 6 times.
No,
No, he
no,
married her
I
twice.
knew all of his wives.
Okay, how many?
There was the one I went to junior college with. Isn't that awful? I can see her. But, oh gosh, isn't that awful?
Oh, that's okay.
Just
You're
go to
fine.
number one. Number one.
Yeah.
Number 2 was
Oh, Helen Powell.
Helen.
Married Helen
Okay.
Powell.
Oh yes, Helen. I should have known that.
I remember Helen. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, and
Okay.
she and Aunt Enos were very close.
My dad liked Helen.
Yes.
And he was
yes,
still
he
building
did. She was a
with her
nice
years later.
lady.
Arlene, that's your iced tea.
Oh, thank you, thank you, that's fine, thank you. So Helen, and then the next one, yeah. Were we invited to their wedding? Yes. My mom and dad and Bill and I were invited to their wedding, but I don't remember her first name. She was
That's number 2.
quite
I don't
attractive.
think my dad was invited.
No.
Okay.
No. And don't remember her name. She was quite attractive. And then there was Anne.
And so it's just 3. Okay.
I
But he
think.
married Ann twice.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
right.
Because
Divorced-
remember one time she left him, took everything?
That's right. That's
She
right.
took him back.
He walked in the door from a trip and opened it
Yeah.
up and there wasn't a thing in the house.
I
Not a
had
piece of
for-
furniture, not a piece
I
of
had
paper.
forgotten
Everything
that,
was gone.
Dad
Jan.
must have loved that story.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he undoubtedly relished that, that's for sure.
But Dad liked Ann too. And
She was a very nice lady.
Yeah.
But she died. Well, I wonder what happened to Irvin's pictures.
I believe Ann's family probably has it. It's possible Mike got him, but I don't know. Or Patty.
I have a question.
Sure.
So when they were when my Grandpa Lloyd for me was growing up on this farm, what kind of stuff did they grow on the farm? Was it just random food to eat, or did they have
there were
crops?
cows. There were.
Dairy
It wasn't
farm.
very
Dairy.
large cows, and they milked the cows and made the cheese and
They had
the
pigs.
butter.
I know they had pigs.
I don't.
Because two things. One,
on the hillside, because it kind of slant to go up there.
Dad said every cow had a personality.
Yeah, I'm sure they all had names.
Yeah,
Oh,
they all
sure.
had personalities,
Yeah.
and he talked about one would be
Yeah.
ornery, never want to go where you
Right.
wanted to go. He talked about the pigs, that they would go out and feed the pigs, and they would put the slop in there, and he said the pigs would be fine, but if you rattled the dish, they think some other pig is eating, and they'd all come running to eat you when they're full. He talked about rattling the dish to get the pigs to eat more.
That sounds very, I can visualize that.
Yeah, I believe they had chickens there.
Yeah, they had
Oh,
I've seen a
yes.
pic. They had at least one that I've seen a picture of.
the famous
Yeah.
picture of Dad with the chicken.
Dad didn't talk a lot about produce.
No,
I think there were berries there,
there were, yes, there were, and there were fruit trees.
and they had a little place where they kept all their, built into the hill where they kept all their creamery, a cold house.
Remember, Jan, I was very young,
Yes.
only about 4 years old, or, Oh, now what
You
you
wanna sit
have here, Marcy?
Well, I'm sure you can find people you know in
Oh,
that picture.
oh, I know where this was taken. This was taken, this was at the ranch of my aunt and uncle Romeo and Flora Spriafico.
Spriafico, that was who told me that story, Mr. Spriafico told me the
Yeah,
story about
Flora
Grandma and Grandpa.
Spriafico was my aunt on my mother's side. She was Swiss Italian, and her Uncle Romeo was Italian, and he, God, he was a character. Oh boy, but that's a Pedrotta family thing. Now here's Uncle Mike here.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Do you have marked something?
No, I know where Dad is, he's the only person I know in the picture.
Uncle Mike?
That's Uncle Mike.
Okay, it looks a little bit like Elwood. I
This
can
one,
see-
Marcy, just so you know.
I can probably identify a good portion of those people.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That is Uncle Mike.
Can you find Dad, Joan?
I didn't look long enough.
Oh, isn't this interesting? Oh, my, oh gosh, oh, no, my sister, my aunt, my grandmother, me, that's me, right there. Oh, my, oh, I remember